We just witnessed history as these Boston Celtics just absolutely shattered records left and right as Payton Pritchard and Derrick White went absolutely nuclear versus a rising Portland Trailblazers team in which they were shorthanded with no Jrue Holiday, no Kristaps Porziņģis, and no Jayson Tatum. So how did they do it? We'll get into all of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez with my co-host Patrick Billings. And Patrick, we had a exciting game to talk about and break down here as we prepared going over this in the live stream, and it was absolutely insane.
Yeah, Bruce. I mean, everything that we talked about in the live stream, every single Wednesday will be live, guys. So make sure you're tuning in and watching us because we pretty much predicted this game. Bruce, you said it was going to end up in a 10-point game. We said Peyton Pritchard, he was going to have his game today. And that's exactly what we saw.
We hit it right on the nail. And like you said, if you guys want to get all those predictions and stay up to date on everything regarding around the Celtics team, make sure to stay tuned and stay up to date on Celtics Digest. But Patrick, let's get in and let's dive in on this exciting game as we mentioned, as we saw the Boston Celtics take on this Portland Trailblazers team, and we saw them absolutely go nuclear. 128-118. We said it was going to be, a 10 to 12 point game in our predictions, and we absolutely hit that on the coffin. And for seeing this game, we obviously saw some great performances from this Celtics team. Like we mentioned, no Jayson Tatum, no Kristaps Porziņģis, no Jrue Holiday, and we saw Derrick White and Peyton Pritchard be those main stories. Give me your thoughts from your honest reactions from watching this game.
Bruce, I was speechless watching this game. I mean, we've seen both of these guys hit a ton of threes and come up in the clutch. Derrick White, probably the clutch player of the year, of my opinion, and the sixth man of the year. Peyton Pritchard, he's in an elite company, joining those guys coming off the bench and having a 40 plus game. I mean, this is things that we've seen these guys do all season long and all career long. This is everything that they do. But they were getting left open a lot. It was when Peyton Pritchard was getting hot. The Blazers went and defended on him, and then they went right to Derrick White right after, and he started to hit threes. It was a constant back and forth, and it really felt like Jaylen Brown didn't even need to play tonight either. He had a quiet night. It felt like he didn't shoot the ball well tonight, but he wasn't even needed, which is crazy.
No, the fact that you could play a game, as like we said, mentioning versus a rising Blazers team and not have the likes of your two best players playing at this level and still having this much success is just crazy to witness. And you brought up the valid point of when Peyton Pritchard was getting hot, the Blazers would go and try to double him and try to limit him, and that just left them to run that two-man game open with Derrick White. We saw that late in the fourth quarter as well. Peyton Pritchard getting hunted on that defensive side, trying to limit him from getting to that 40 points, and they said, all right, we'll find Derrick. We'll start going to him. We'll start getting him going. And we know Derrick has been that clutch player, the guy that Tatum and Brown, they look for on that three-point line to really deliver from three-point range in the fourth quarter. And he did that once again tonight for this Celtics team. You mentioned Jaylen Brown as well, having a quiet game, a little bit inefficient, but played very solid as well, even if he did have a little bit of a quiet performance, was able to go at the rack and was able to insinuate some, good offensive pressure from driving and being a slasher against this Blazers team, which I felt they can combat very easily with this Celtics
Right.
team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this Blazers team, they brought it up in the pregame since January 16th, I believe it was. They've been the second best ranked defense in the NBA. So this Blazers team is no slouch, like we've talked about. They have great talent, and they showed it. Jabari Walker for the Blazers, he had an unreal shooting night tonight. So they have a lot of guys that could go out and pick up some slack as well. Denny Avdia didn't play as well tonight, also got injured. But I mean, again, this was just an absolute show from the Celtics guys, even the get ready guys, these get ready bench guys. And I mean, it felt a lot bigger of a margin of a win tonight than it actually was, but that's how it is with the Celtics sometimes. We talk about the one quarter that just blows away the lead, and that's what happened tonight, but it still felt very, very comfortable in the win.
No, I totally agree, and we talked about that in the live stream as well. Sometimes the Celtics have these little bit of like kryptonite quarters where they feel like they lose the lead a little bit, and unfortunately, it makes the game a little bit closer than it needs to be. And in this contest, we saw that too. They had points where it was 8, 10, it was getting a little bit closer, but the Celtics still were able to push that lead a little bit bigger to, back to that 20, 18, 16 point realm to kind of hold off this Blazers team in the end. And we saw another dominant performance as well on the Celtics team from Al Horford, as the Celtics, when they went with that 5-out lineup competing against Donovan Clingan, it was just no matchup for the young big man. What did you think of Al Horford's performance tonight, Patrick?
You know what? We keep bringing up the live stream. We brought up everything, and we thought that we are going to see a lot of Neemias Queta tonight. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think that Al Horford was going to play such a big role tonight, but he came up big once again from the 3-point line, making threes when they mattered. His defense right at the end, getting a block down low. I mean, he's always going to enforce this Celtics defense and on the offensive end, dragging, Donovan Clingan out to the 3-point line. That's trouble for the Blazers, but they usually have guys that can pick up some slack and make the switch. But again, I mean, he's just playing with his food at that point. I couldn't imagine if Kristaps Porziņģis was playing tonight how it would look. Probably the same exact result. I think that they should have just changed their game plan. They had a guy in Jabari Walker playing so well. They could have ran a little bit more of a small ball, but that just wasn't the case. They just stuck to what they've been playing because they've been playing great basketball, and I understand it. It was they couldn't do anything tonight.
They could not compete against this top tier Celtics team. You mentioned we were looking for Neemias Queta. Didn't really get to see him much
Right.
tonight. Luke Cornett, your guy that you want to start shooting some more baskets, start getting some more open looks. Unfortunately, three had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, was doing some of the dirty work, didn't have the greatest game. Kind of nice little lob from Al Horford as well. And
Yeah.
then not to forget to mention Jordan Walsh as well. 1 for 1 from the field, hitting that big three, but explosive on the defensive side, playing some great defense. And even though Jordan Walsh had 21 minutes tonight, this is one of the bigger leashes that Walsh has been given, and he showed us some great fun tonight in that lineup and what he can ultimately bring for this Celtics team, I think, in the future as a product as well.
Right, because he could definitely switch on to anyone on the opposite side of the floor. And we saw that tonight. He's being gritty, Mr. Consistent. That's what everyone's calling him now. All these new nicknames, he's Mr.
Yep.
Consistent. That's what he looked like tonight. They can rely on him. We thought Drew Peterson was going to get some minutes tonight with Tatum being out, but Jordan Wall showed that he should be on the court over him. And he did very well tonight. And you're very happy to see that as a Celtics fan.
Yep. I think overall, as a Celtics fan, this is one of the games that, like we were mentioning in the live stream, maybe you see the Blazers coming up in March and you're like, that's not a game that I really want to pay attention to. But it was one to definitely keep your eyeballs on, as, like we mentioned, absolutely crazy numbers. We saw some records being broken as Derrick White, Peyton Pritchard, the first duo in NBA history to hit 9 threes in the same game. We all wanted Derrick White to get that 10th three. They were trying to find it for him, but they couldn't get it. The first duo in Celtics history to each score 40 points in the same game as Peyton Pritchard and Derrick White. And that's going to be a historic stat that you look back on in 10, 15, 20 years from now. That's going to be some hilarious trivia. We see from Noah Dalzell that Al Horford said from Miss Melly Valdez that the Celtics came away with this big win tonight due to the fact of Peyton Pritchard and Derrick White, and repeated that as well. And I think that's something that we need to really hit home with this Celtics team, as they did break the record here for the Celtics tonight, doing some great work. But not only just that, Al Horford, the rest of the Celtics team really realizing that as well.
I mean, it's truly unbelievable to think that this is the first duo to have 9 plus threes in the same game. Listening to, I'm like, Curry and Clay had to have done that a billion of times, but it's Derek White and Peyton Pritchard putting their stamp on the record in the NBA, and even the first 40-point duo as well for the Celtics. That's unbelievable. I mean, Tatum and Brown almost did it the other night. I guess that was just a tease for this game, and I mean, I'll take it. This game was unbelievable. I'm like still in awe about what I just watched.
Yeah, I think honestly every Celtics fan is in shock of what they just saw on their TV screens. Like we mentioned, in a night with no Jayson Tatum and a lackluster, not really lackluster, but underperforming Jaylen Brown game, you would expect not to see this type of performance. But once again, Peyton Pritchard and Derrick White giving us that showing. And Mike Tirico kind of said something similar about Steph Curry and Klay Thompson going off. They kind of had their separate games, which is kind of crazy, but they never really had a game where they both went off together, which I think is wild. The fact that, like you mentioned, Peyton Pritchard, Derrick White, the first who hit 9 threes. But to close off, we do have to get into some other news regarding this Celtics team, as Sam Hauser apparently got into some injury history, and he's had some back issues going on to the season, but as we can see from Keith Smith, he was hurt. Not sure what happened. John Corrales from Locked On said he rolled his ankle. Noah Dalzell looked like he sprained his ankle, and Adam Himmelsbach from the Globe letting us know that he got hurt on the last play. So Patrick, hearing this, obviously gearing up for tomorrow, what are your thoughts with Sam Hauser, and what do you think about this ankle injury? We'll probably get some more updates leading into tomorrow, which will have some stuff to break down, but what do you really think?
I mean, Bruce, he definitely should not play tomorrow. I don't know what it's about. I mean, it was right at the end of the game too. Of course, that hurts, but I don't think he should play tomorrow against this shorthanded Sixers team. There's no reason for him to play. Let's get him healthy. Let's get some ice on that ankle, and hopefully he's okay to play on Saturday against the Lakers. That's what we're talking about. That Lakers game is pivotal for this Celtics team, especially at home. I mean, we've seen again, he's had the injury bug a little bit, but I'm hoping that it's nothing too serious. He was able to walk off the court, so it was just very surprising. That's not what you want to see after a great game like that. You don't want to see an injury right at the last minute.
Yeah, and an unfortunate turn of events for the Celtics right there, like you mentioned. Late game injury, something that could be kind of prevented if he wasn't in that last second situation. But unfortunate for Hauser, we'll have to wait and see how that injury holds up for him in the ankle, as he's dealt with some injuries this season. But I agree, don't think he should play against the Sixers tomorrow. Think he should hold up. And for this Celtics team, that will be getting some guys hopefully back tomorrow as well. Definitely
Yeah.
will be a nice needed rest for Sam Hauser. But Patrick, we witnessed history tonight as the
History.
Celtics absolutely went off tonight. Derrick White, Payton Pritchard setting records, and it was fantastic to witness, fantastic to break down on this episode of Celtics Digest with you. So I can't wait to break down some more Celtics content with you on this channel. We're going to be having some fun over these next couple weeks and months, gearing up with the Celtics heading into the playoffs. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today's video, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, everyone.